There is a block in your business that has nothing to do with your strategy, your offer, or your marketing. This ceiling is the exact point where your nervous system decides you are visible enough, meaning you are about to be too visible if you get out there in a bigger way. And until you're aware of this, it will keep running the show. Today on the podcast, we are talking about the visibility block. Why so many high-achieving women in business hit a growth plateau, and why there is no funnel, no rebrand, no new strategy that can fix it. What your nervous system is actually protecting you from when it pulls you back from being seen. And the 3 shifts that move you through it for good. So let's get into it. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to the podcast. I want to ask you something today, and I want you to sit with it for a second before you answer. When was the last time that you held yourself back from being fully visible in your business? Here's what I mean. Maybe you wrote a post, but you didn't publish it. You took videos on your phone to create a reel, and those videos never made it into the reel. They're still on your phone. Or maybe you had an idea for a video and you talked yourself out of it. Maybe you got a speaking opportunity and you found a reason it wasn't the right time. If any of that landed with you, I want you to know something. That is not you being scattered or lazy. That is not procrastination. It is the visibility block. And today we are going to call it out, name it, so we can do something about it. Because the visibility ceiling or visibility block is one of the most common, most invisible, and most revenue limiting patterns that I see in women entrepreneurs at your level. Here's what I mean. Let's say you have the offer or the program and you have the results, you have the testimonials to prove that what you do is great. You have the right methodology, it works. You may even have the social media marketing plan, and it is a good one. And yet something keeps pulling you right back before you step into that next level of being seen. Do you recognize that? Let's talk about what that something actually is. And I want to start with this, and please write it down if you're in a place that you can do so. Your nervous system is not wired for visibility. I'm just going to say that again. Your nervous system is not wired for visibility. So if you're trying to be more visible, your nervous system is going to shut it down. And it's going to look like procrastination or forgetfulness. Your nervous system is wired instead for safety. And for most of us, visibility did not feel safe growing up. If you were too loud, you got corrected. If you were too confident, maybe you were called arrogant. If you were too successful, it made you different from the other women around you. And so standing out felt dangerous, like you were just one step away from being bullied or cast out or abandoned, all in ways that were very real at the time. These were all true for me. I don't know if you recognized any of those for yourself. But here's what I want to share with you. In response to this, your nervous system learned to keep you at a certain level of visible. Just enough to build a business, just enough to not stand out too much or be too controversial or invite criticism from people you know and from people you don't know. Just enough visibility so that it didn't trigger the old fears. Are you with me on this one? I've recognized myself here too. And here is what makes this so tricky and what I've found out over the years and the thousands of women I've accompanied so far. The ceiling is not static. It is not something that you cross over just once, right? It moves up as you grow. What do I mean by that? Well, I always say new level, new devil. Perhaps you had to overcome a certain fear of visibility to get to where you are now. And you know that to get to the next level of your business, you're going to need a greater level of visibility. So in essence, every time you reach a new level of success, the nervous system recalibrates and it sets a new invisible limit, which is why so many women feel like they keep hitting the same wall just at a higher revenue number. And they say to me, but I've already worked on that limiting belief. I've already worked on that fear, right? It is not the same wall. It is the same pattern, and the pattern sounds like this. I'll put myself out there more once the website is ready. I'll go bigger when we have that rebrand. I'll do more marketing when I have the testimonials, or once I launch that thing, or I'll show up more consistently once things settle down. Do you notice the repeated word? Once, once, once. And my dear sister, you probably know that once or only when never actually comes. Because once is not a circumstance. It is always a nervous system problem. Now, before I show you what to do about it, let me talk about what the visibility block actually costs you, because I think this is really important. And because this is not just a mindset conversation, it is also a revenue conversation. Every time you pull back from being more visible, your client pipeline slows down, right? Every time the pipeline slows, the revenue becomes unpredictable. Every time the revenue becomes unpredictable, fear sets in, right? And when you're feeling fear, you're definitely not going to be more visible. That's going to feel even less safe. So it becomes this loop. And if you want a breakthrough, you have to interrupt the pattern, the loop. So let's talk about how. I have two things that I want to invite you to do. The first shift, if you want to call it, is acknowledging the block as it happens. It's not about calling it procrastination, right? Let's call it for what it really is, which is a fear of visibility. That visibility isn't safe. And the moment that you can feel the pull to not post or not publish or not promote or not show up, I just want you to pause and ask yourself just this one thing. Is this a real reason, or is it a visibility block? Because there is a difference between a genuine strategic pause where you're, I think this is not the right time, and the nervous system pulling you back from being seen. There's one that's discernment and one that's fear-based. And you will know the difference. You can feel it. For me, if I'm being vulnerable, that feeling has shown up as a mix of relief and maybe shame, like, you know what you need to be doing, but you don't know why you're not doing it. And that points to that visibility block or that visibility ceiling. That is what's blocking your growth. Now, something that I've learned over the years and done so much mindset work, and when I teach my mindset events, is that you don't try willpower against it first, right? Just start by naming it like, aha, I know what this is. I recognize this. And you can even say it out loud if you want to, like, I get this. It's not procrastination. It is my fear of visibility. And then once you have acknowledged it, you can do the thing, right? Do the thing that you were resisting anyway. Not because fear isn't real, because it definitely feels real, but because the pattern that keeps repeating will only break when the action happens in spite of, right? You've heard that saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. That is pattern interrupt. So first it's recognizing it and then interrupting the pattern. That's the first shift. The second shift is microdosing visibility. And what I mean by that is slowly expanding your tolerance for being seen in small, repeated doses. So you're not going to get over a big nervous system block around visibility by going from invisible to everywhere overnight. It's just not going to be helpful, right? It's going to be totally dysregulating and destabilizing. But instead, I'm inviting you to increase your tolerance by choosing slightly more visibility than feels comfortable, but not hugely so, consistently and over time. So I want you to think about lifting dumbbell weights, those handheld weights. You don't start with 25-pound weights at 100 reps when you've never done it before. That would be almost impossible and very painful. No, you start with small weights, small number of reps, and every day in every way you add a little bit more weight and slightly more reps. And so for visibility, it works in the same way. One more slightly vulnerable email than you would normally write. Maybe it's instead of one post a week, you add a second one, and then maybe one more the following week. If you send a monthly email newsletter, maybe this is about going twice a month and then 3 times a month, and then weekly, and then twice or 3 times a week over time. Maybe it means saying out loud, this is what I do and this is who I do it for, without apologizing for it. You see, each small act of visibility tells your nervous system something new. It's creating new neural pathways in the brain. It says, I did that and it was okay. It was safe. See, I'm not hurt. And over time, that neural pathway gets stronger and stronger, and it becomes a new form of confidence within you. It becomes your self-image. And over time, that visibility ceiling rises. The visibility block dissolves. Not because the fear went away, but because your ability to take action in spite of grew. So the second shift is just about doing slightly more visibility in smaller amounts over time, and they will compound, and you'll become a new person in your own eyes. And the third shift is having a container that witnesses your visibility and encourages you, making you feel safe. This is the one that many women don't even think about. And this is the one that changes everything, in my opinion. And here's what I've learned, and I repeat again and again and again. You've heard me talk about it on this podcast. Isolation breeds self-doubt. I'm going to say that again. Isolation breeds self-doubt, especially for women. Here's what I mean. Isolation tends to make you question yourself. It removes your courage. You are more likely to stop yourself from doing something that's a little bit, anxiety producing when you are alone. But this totally gets turned on its head when you are surrounded by other brave women in business who are doing the same work alongside you, who have big ambitions and also feel perhaps a little nervous. But when you have women who fiercely believe in you, who champion you, and who also give you a soft place to land when you have a bad day or a challenging visibility experience, that's when things change. You start taking bigger action when you are among a tribe of other women who are doing it too. But there's also this mirroring back that happens and, joyful accountability. When somebody who's in your community, an intentional community, sees you hold back and she calls you on it lovingly, or when someone celebrates your visibility out loud, or when you are in a room of women who are choosing to be seen at the next level and you feel the pull of that exciting energy, this changes you. And this is why community, in my opinion, is not optional for this kind of work, for reaching your big 7-figure freedom. It is necessary. It's crucial. And whenever I interview a woman from inside Bold Heart on this podcast, she will tell you the same thing. They did not blow past their visibility block alone. They did it inside a container that held them lovingly accountable. If you go back and listen to every one of the client interviews on this podcast, they will always, always, always mention the community. They will tell you about doubling their business revenues while working less, and they always reference the support of the other women, that they couldn't have done it without the community. If you watch the mini documentary on boldheart.com about my program, the community is a huge part of the results that you get, because this is what it takes to be more visible. It's not being in isolation. It is feeling safe in the company of others who've got your back. It's about going past your own blocks. And that's when everything changes for the better. So, shift number 1, naming it, pattern interrupt. Shift number 2, microdosing visibility. Shift number 3, getting into a community of other women entrepreneurs who will have your back, hold you lovingly accountable as you will hold them accountable, and doing it together. No more isolation, no more self-doubt, greater courage because we are in this together. Something to think about today. And before I close, I want to speak directly to your heart. If you've been playing smaller than you know you are capable of, I just want you to hear this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Nothing. If you've experienced a plateau in your business or your revenues, this is not evidence that you are not cut out for this. It is just a pattern, right? And these patterns can be interrupted. So let me remind you that you do good work in the world. You know that in your heart, and the business you are building deserves to be seen. I always say that there is a song on your heart that only you can sing, and it's time for that song to be heard far and wide. I know you're in business not just for the money. I know you want to make a difference in people's lives. And the clients who need what you do deserve to find you. But it's not really their job to find you. It's your job to be so visible that they can't help but find you. And the version of you who is willing to be fully visible is already inside of you. I promise you she is. She is just waiting for you to stop letting the visibility block make all of her decisions. Okay? So let that sink in. And if you're listening to this and you can feel your own visibility blocks, if you know that you're getting in your own way and you want a real conversation with somebody who knows about this, and you really want to address what it is costing your business and what to do about it, that is exactly what a business audit call with me is for. In case you don't know yet, I offer a small handful every month, free of charge, for podcast listeners. The way it works is that you go to boldheart.com/call, CALL, and you answer a few questions about your business ahead of time. And if you qualify, not everybody does, you can then book a business audit and get on my calendar. I will read everything that you sent me. I read all of the answers that you wrote down ahead of time. And then I come to our business audit call prepared. And together we look at what is actually happening in your business, why you are stuck, why you're not growing, or why you're completely overwhelmed. I just want to say, it's me doing these audits. It's not my team. It's not a salesperson. It's not a junior coach who hasn't been at multiple seven figures for 18 years like I have. It's me. And together, you and I will diagnose what specific blocks are holding your business back, and we will map out the roadmap that will close this gap. And if you have any questions about what it's like to be in my community, I can also answer those questions. Because the breakthrough always starts with the business audit. We need to diagnose what's not working before we slap on a solution, right? That's not the way we do things. The business audit is the moment everything changes because you finally have clarity, which is hard to find on your own. So you can apply at boldheart.com/call. The link is also in the show notes. Dear sister, here's what I want you to take away with you today. Your visibility block is not a strategy problem. It is a nervous system pattern. We need to do the inner work. And you break it not by pushing harder, but by choosing slightly more visibility that feels comfortable consistently over time, by being witnessed by women who are doing the same, and by doing the work. All right, I'm going to see you next week. Until I see you next, either here or during your business audit, I am sending you so much love.